this video here is over one of my Tai Chi programs. So Tai Chi for functional fitness. So when people come to me, a lot of people that want to learn Tai Chi, they're not looking for a specific style of Tai Chi, right? The core people, they're not looking for, well, I want to learn Shin Tai Chi or I want to learn Yang. They have seen Tai Chi, they've maybe read articles about the benefits of it, or they've seen video of it, maybe on YouTube or anywhere randomly. Maybe they've seen somebody in the park doing it, and they want to try something for their health and for for their body's maintenance. So anyway, their approach to coming to it may not be the traditional approach. And so I have this program that is laid out, and the way I'm going to explain it to this video is for those that may be wanting to come to me for Tai Chi classes, or someone that lives somewhere else and maybe they're watching these videos on YouTube and they want to try to learn Tai Chi for themselves because there's no one teaching in their town or their location, or maybe they don't have the ability to travel. Or someone that maybe they have a school and they'd like to add a Tai Chi program and something that would benefit people. That could be a possible too, and you're more than welcome to contact me. So I do a traditional program, and that is traditional Tai Chi forms and weapon sets and all of that. And but when people come to me at first, I get them to go through a portion of this program anyway, because it's developing a foundation for them at doing traditional forms. But again, the poorer people, they're more interested in the act of doing Tai Chi more than they are in a system of it. So the reason I call it Tai Chi for functional fitness is that in functional fitness, the goal is in a way is to maintain your body through doing certain exercises, and we could talk about wellness, right, as well, like diet and sleeping and all of those things. But purely the functional fitness aspect of it is the person, either depending on their age bracket, maybe they want to lose a little weight, or maybe they have some hypertension, or maybe they have anxiety, or maybe their body is stiff, or they're not in the shape they want to be in. And Tai Chi is in my personal opinion, a great alternative to a lot of other things out there. So I'm going to start it out like this. So I have my platform. The platform is the different areas of study, or things that we would work on to develop that person. Now, this seems like a lot of pieces, and it is, and we'll say the average person is probably not going to learn all of this. I need all of these things myself as an instructor, because depending on that person's age, physical capacity, what they're trying to achieve, they need these things. Now, some of this, I would say everyone is, they're going to try to experience it or learn something from it. Method is basically more just my approach to how I disseminate this information, and then the benefits are what you're going to get from doing this program. So I'm going to start here. So, and these are in no particular order or something like that, but I'm going to start with Wuchi. Wuchi is it is a standing position. Okay, and if you were doing more traditional stuff, I would explain it more in depth. But right now, basically, it's we'll say it's a standing position like this, and the hands could be here, or different positions, and it has more than one name. This is just easy to remember. So if you think it's like the body is in a stationary position, but I'm focused on my breathing, and my body is loose, my joints are open, and in a lot of ways, when someone starts their posture or their structure, the way they hold themselves, it can be off. And this is a great way to help to strengthen the core muscles, the abdominals, and the lumbar, and the obliques, and even the psoas muscles on deeper inside of the core. So I'm not going to go through these too in depth because it would take a long time. But I will say this, if you're watching this video, I will be making individual videos over all of these different aspects, these different things. There's a lot of content here, but just, this is just an abbreviation. We'll say the additional piece that goes along with this is a resting squat. What is a resting squat? Well, a resting squat is something like this, where my body is here, and I'm going to naturally let my body go down, and I'm going to let it fold, right? And you would be surprised. There's a lot of people. I'll be 55 this year. There's a lot of people that are in their 40s or even in their 30s that their back is really stiff, or everything is tight, or in the hips they're tight, or they just don't have the strength to go and put their bodies down there. In our environment, people are always sitting in supported chairs and things like that. So to me, learning to do a resting squat with breathing, and again, it's stationary, but the body is moving, and I'm going to go down and I'll hold it for a little bit, take a couple of breaths, and come back up. So to me, these are two very important things, and they're easy to learn right off the bat for somebody to start trying to strengthen the body again. This 12-step sequence, basically what this is postures, or stances. Stances within the footwear or in the posture themselves, like say for example a cat stance, right, or a bow stance, right, or a sit back stance, right. So it's learning that verbiage and knowing what those pieces are, and through this sequence, my sequel taught me this back in the early 90s. But these are fundamental stances that are throughout the Tai Chi and other styles of Kung Fu as well. And learning them and learning the position will help to strengthen the legs. And also at the same time, it will help you to improve the use of the posture itself, and through the next part, the Tai Chi walking. So a lot of people call the footwork in Tai Chi walking, and that is perfectly fine, but it's footwork, right? Like here I'm in a bow stance, and depending on what, we'll say, traditional system of Tai Chi you're doing, or what other forms, as I'll discuss in a minute, but I'm here and say, I shift the weight, I turn the foot, and I bring myself through, and then I transfer the weight, and I transfer the weight back, and I pull myself through, and then I transfer the weight, and I'm turning, shifting. So that is an idea of Tai Chi walking. There's multiple aspects of it. There's learning to lift the leg as you step through, or as you're going backwards, lifting the leg. It's helping with your balance, your structural stability, your core muscles, your leg strength, all of these things that you need, no matter how old you are. These 18 loosening exercises. Purely what this is this just not unlike this 12-step sequence. It just helps you to remember the pieces, right? But these loosening exercises are they're for my joints, right? Whether it's my wrists, or my elbows, or my hips, or my knees, or my ankles, or my neck, or my shoulders. It's just a series of exercises to help the person to kind of relax and to lubricate the joints before starting exercise. Solo postures. Solo postures are, if you think about the stances, right? The stances are individual actions. When you put the individual actions together, you make footwork, and then when you incorporate hand movements, you make postures, and then you're using them in a dynamic way. When you connect multiple different postures together, you create a form, right? Like a Tai Chi form. And again, if I'm explaining this, and it seems like I'm explaining it, maybe I'm explaining this for the new person, right? Somebody new coming to Tai Chi. If you're currently doing Tai Chi, or you're doing something else and you're curious about this, look at it for what it is. A simplistic way to explain it and to get people to understand it. So I try to encourage people to do solo postures along with the walking, right? So once they get good at the footwork, now we need to start coordinating things together. And through individual postures. Like say, for example, I do brush knee twist step, right? So now I'm needing to coordinate the hands with the footwork to create this posture, right? And then I step through and I do the piece again, or I step through and I do the piece again, and learning to turn around with the piece, right? So, usually when someone's practicing these, maybe they'll pick 2 or 3 that they're having an issue with trying to coordinate them, right? And they'll work with those pieces. Hand forms. Hand forms are the Tai Chi routines, okay? And I have as small as 8-step routines and as large as 64-step routines for this Tai Chi for functional fitness. Now the traditional long forms, most all of them are a lot longer, like the Yang, depending on how you're counting it, is 85 or 103 or 108 or we'll say the Sports Commission health form that was created in like 1956, 57, it's 88 posture. Now it has a few different pieces to it, but it's predominantly the same form, right? Or Wu style, it has, its long form is 108, right? So most of our Sun style, right? It's depending on how they count it, 97 or 98, right? But don't be fooled by that. Just 8 moves. Like this form here, in reality, it does 8 different postures, right? Like these postures, but it does them on the left, and then it does them on the right, and then it has an opening and has a closing piece. So in reality, it's closer to 20 individual pieces connected together. And this form is quite long itself. So within this, I have about 2 dozen of these hand forms that range from as small as 8 and as much as 64 pieces or steps. Most of them are going to be in the teens, and the 30s. Teens and 20s and the 30s in size. Like a 40 step or a 24 step or a 16 step, 13 step, like that. And these forms that I do most of these forms were either created as a short form for a traditional system, or they were created for sport or for health. And the reason I utilize these for this is because I feel with the traditional forms that if you're going to do them, then you need to do them as close as possible to what it is. Meaning that adaptations on your part, if we can avoid that would be the approach. That way it's retained, right? If we start modifying, then it becomes something else. As it relates to these other ones that were short forms, or they were created for sport, or they were created for health, I don't mind augmenting these. Say somebody has an intense shoulder, right? Or they don't have the stability or the balance or the leg strength to do this posture or this stance, right? So we may do it this way and use it in a progression until we can get them here if we can, right? And if we can't, that's fine, right? But to do this and to be able to shift and pull the person through and this kind of stuff like this, not everybody can do this when they start doing Tai Chi. And it's not necessarily an age factor. There's people in their 20s with poor stability and balance and posture. The same thing with somebody that may be 70, right? Don't think of it as an age factor thing. Classical weapon forms. Okay. I call them that, but most of these again they're the same as these hand forms, meaning these were designed for sport or for health, or as a short routine to introduce the movements to you. So I have several sword routines that I do, and walking step, right? And what I mean by that is, I'm talking about things like this, right? So the different size exercise, you know, you can call it it's not really like a cane, right? You know, it's kind of taller than a cane, but think of it like a hiking stick or something, right? And through these, there's a lot of forms, and to utilize the stick, we'll say, as a weapon, you know, if you wanted to think of it like that. But also there's forms that can be done with the stick that are purely for exercise. You know, it doesn't have any martial application to it. These are made out of rattan. It's very strong stuff. They're not super heavy, but you could also, you know, get something made out of oak or pine. You could go to your local Home Depot or Lowe's and, you know, get a 4-foot wooden dowel. This is a little more than 4 foot. This is about 4 foot. And use that. But very functional, right? And as it relates to sword routines, you know, you can get you something like this. This is a very well-made wooden sword. It's one piece. It's not 2 or 3 pieces glued together. I've had this one for probably 30 years. You know, it's I've stained it a couple of times and all of that kind of stuff. But things like this, you know, you don't need something that's super elaborate. If you want to buy you a nice sword, if you've learned a few sort of routines, or if you go into the traditional stuff and you want to buy you a higher end sword, you could do that. But this works just fine. So anyway, what is the value of these? A lot of people, like, I'll give you an example. Say they do this brush knee, and okay, I'm in this straight line, right? But they will overreach, right? Or they'll be like this, and then they overreach like this. And they can't really feel it or see it as much. But then when you put something in their hand, and they're overreaching, they'll even overreach more, and it helps to correct that. It's also great for hand and eye coordination, it will help with the strengthening, helping with the shoulder girdle. And again, if I'm using it as exercise, all kind of good stuff I can do with it. So again, it's just trying to make this as brief as I can. Exercise apparatus, hand weights, poles, balls, fans. Hand weights, there's a variety of those, and if you're watching this in time, I don't have this video made right now, but I should have it made in the next couple of days. A video over different kinds of hand weights, but as an example. My Sifu, his teacher, Master Chong, through doing Tai Chi and Swaja, which is a master of these systems, especially very well known for Swaja. He utilized bricks for exercise, and you know, a lot of people don't really understand the value of those. But it's not just, it helps to strengthen the grip in the hand, the forearms, the biceps, the shoulder girdle itself, but it also helps to get you to learn to engage the core, right? And these are just standard running weights. You can get these in 1 to 5 pounds. I also do use shots, you know, shot puts. I use bricks, but it's hard to find the old clay bricks. You know, if you, I don't know, building that's being torn down that maybe was built in the 50s or prior, you could probably maybe find some good heavy clay bricks. But something like this, you can buy these off Amazon, you can buy the shots off of Amazon or something like that. And, you know, as we get older, and I don't want to make the emphasis that Tai Chi is just for old people. It's really not. I mean, there's kids in their, you know, preteen, teens that do Tai Chi. It is, as a form of functional fitness, it is equal to, in a lot of ways, it has even additional benefits that yoga does not, because it's also a martial art, and you have all of these. You have a plethora of, you know, you've got a sword, you've got staffs, you've got spears, you've got sabers, you've got all kind of interesting things that you can learn, and then also it's a martial art, and then all the things you can do with your body. So it's very encompassing, and you can, plenty of books you can read on it. It's something that can keep you entertained and keep you motivated. But something like this is great to, again, help with the body. But what I was going to get at is that When people go in for tests, you know, let's say when they get older, like one of the things that they have to do is get up off of the floor, right? They also test their hand strength as a couple of examples. And this will help to maintain your hand strength. You know, if we lose our core muscles, this becomes weak, or the hands get weak, you know, it makes it really hard to pick something up, right? And, you know, it's, again, the body can go through cycles of being in, you know, where, you know, say you sit in a chair all day long and you don't do any activity, your body is not going to be maximum for whether you're 20, 25, 40, you know, 55, you know, 75. You've got to physically work this thing that you're in. Also, there's things like these, like Tai Chi balls that you can use for exercise. The poles, like I was discussing, fans, like Tai Chi, you know, fans, great for wrist strength and for coordination, being able to move and step and do an action. All of that stuff is great to keep the body moving and working in the right way. Silk breathing. Silk breathing is more done in Chen, the idea of it. It's not that the other styles don't do it, but they emphasize that. But in the silk breathing, we just simplify it. We're looking at learning to coordinate the body as a unit, right? I want to be able to, I don't want the hand to move, right, and the body like fragmented, but I want these things to move together, right? And it's just learning simple exercises to learn that premise. It will improve your Tai Chi, but at the same time, if real world situation, learning to get the whole body to work together as a unit. Say somebody's physically, maybe their strength is, you know, gone. Maybe they were in an accident, or they got sick for a period of time. Maybe they're 35. If they're trying to pull the door open with their arm, they may not be able to do that, you know, but if they learn to pull the door open with the body instead of just with the arm, it maybe benefit them, right? Or say somebody they're 80 and, you know, and they need to use the body as a unit. And in doing that, it just fortifies us. Again, this is just a brief of all of these things. The 13 Tao Bao. The 13 Tao Bao are actually from my Sifu's Sifu, Master Chong. And these are used in Swajiao. They are like yoga postures, but I incorporate them into Tai Chi as well because they were part of what Master Chong does. So he has his Tai Chi, he has his Tao Bao, he has his Xing Yi, he has his Swajiao. And I feel that these are excellent for the overall structural stability of the body and how it works. And if you take the time to go on my YouTube channel, and you will find videos over these Tao Bao, a pretty in-depth explanation. But just like in yoga, there's very fundamental asanas that you learn, and then they get more advanced and more complex, right? Well, the same thing, if you would look at these Tao Bao, they would be considered more like, if you were comparing it to a yoga posture, they would be something more like a complex or an advanced posture. So they're not for everyone to do, but if you're in your 20s and 30s and you're taking on Tai Chi, and you have that physical capacity to yourself, you might want to, you know, go ahead and try to attempt these. I would say try them maybe at any age, you know, 60s, 70s. If you can do them, and the way that they help with the supporting of the body and how the body moves, they're excellent. Intent and application, what do I mean by that? If you're doing Tai Chi and you're just moving the arms, right, or you're doing it and the person is teaching it to you and it's more about aesthetics, right? You know, this looks beautiful, or